Hello and welcome to another episode of Wags and Wellness. I am Rachel Down, your host, and today I am joined by the lovely Rory at PAWD Drinks. So, hi, Rory, how are you doing?
Hi Rachel, I'm very good, thank you. And look, thank you for having me along. I'm excited.
Yeah. Welcome. And I just thought that this is a great opportunity to get you to chat to our customers about, the amazing work that you've been doing at PAWD for the last few years. We met actually at the Pet Industry Federation Business Innovation Awards last year, and I just felt that what you were doing was really interesting in the space, and I'd love to see your company grow over the last 12 months. So yeah, tell us, Rory. Tell us all about PAWD and what you're doing, where you're going from
Sure.
there.
Look, Pord was kind of originally started because I actually had a family dog called Scrumpy. He lived till 17 and a half and was healthy throughout his life, but did face kind of very common health issues that dogs face, one of them being anxiety. Um, and I just remember being in the car with my parents, going back and forth to the vet, and leaving the vet, I just remember my parents saying, "Oh gosh, that was expensive, this and that." And that really just stood out to me. And then we'd get into the kitchen and I'd have to watch my mum force feed Scrumpy these pills. And the vast majority of the kind of plans were pill plans from the vet. And it just seemed crazy to me that you know, dogs have everything in this world, but they still need someone to wrap their pills up in ham, cheese, whatever they can to disguise them, and ultimately force feed them down their throats. And it just seemed in a world where the human supplement space has really kind of taken off in a liquid format, why couldn't this be done in the dog world?
Right, love it story. So that was born. So how did you take it from concept
Yeah.
to producing product?
Yeah, so we kind of then, we did a bit of research. We had this idea, this concept, as you say, and it was then, okay, are we barking up the wrong tree? Pardon the pun. Um, are are we, we need to see whether this is something that people would even use, whether they've got the same pain points. And so we did a kind of small survey between family and friends of around 200 people saying, do you face these issues of giving your dogs pills? And the results came back with 91% of dog owners struggling to give them. And so we're like, right, okay,
Wow.
there is a pain point, or although it's a relatively small kind of data set, the 91% is a pretty stark indicator that, a lot of people struggle with this. And I think, even just telling you now the kind of story, it's pretty relatable wrapping pills up in ham and cheese, and people identify and understand that pain point. And so we then thought, okay, right, we've got this idea, we've got this concept, and we think there's a need for it. And so we had a kind of realization that, pills are incredibly scientific, medicinal, and so on. We're looking to go into the supplement space. We need credibility, we need trust, we need as much kind of validation from a scientific or health perspective as we can, because as you know, I'm sure that well the listeners won't know, but Archie and myself, Archie, my co-founder, we're not vets, we're not animal nutritionists. We kind of just have an idea and we wanted to kind of run with it. And so we've been looking into kind of animal nutrition courses, trying to upskill ourselves, and actually we are doing so at the moment and getting the kind of qualifications we need. But we then also partnered with a world leading animal nutritionist firm and some world leading veterinarians who have helped us to develop our product. And
Wow.
they've actually become kind of integral to the business. They are with us for the long
Nice.
haul. And so yeah, so we've realized, one of the most important things to us is the health of the animal, of course, the health of the dog. And the most important thing for us was getting the best product, the healthiest product we could find. And we're proud to say we've done that.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's a fabulous product. So tell us a bit about what products you've developed that are available for dogs,
Of
and
course,
can cats have them too?
of course. So we realized shortly after launching that kind of the anxiety space in the dog world is such a kind of key area that isn't overly supported at the moment. And so we've developed
Yes.
a range of calming products, a range of calming supplements in liquid form that support dogs and deliver that kind of calming nature that they require. And so we have three product types. We have a calming drink, which is a ready to drink, ready mixed, that really is as simple as open the bottle and pour it into their dog bowl. We then have a poured calming blend, which we've developed over the last 2 years or so, which is a powder format that can be sprinkled into their water, much like the kind of protein shakes or human supplements that you see on the market today, like AG1 or Ancient and Brave. And then we also have
Nice.
developed a poured calming collar that works in a way in which it releases pheromones to the dog, and instead of the kind of ingestion through a liquid format, it's through the kind of air particles that they breathe in. And it's
Nice.
this kind of speed and efficacy of absorption of the kind of active ingredients that really we feel really does set us apart.
Wow, that's amazing. So so anxiety's been one of the main focuses of your product that you've developed. Is there any other key products that you've got in development or have launched already?
Yeah, so we've got a joint product which supports, the kind of anxiety for dog, not anxiety, the arthritis for dogs, sorry. So it helps
Yes.
prevent rather than reactive. And I think that's the one of the most important things that we want to get across to dog owners at the moment is with vet bills increasing. We know this firsthand, the price of vets is incredibly expensive, and you don't need to look too far to see the kind of sudden increase in demand for pet insurance because of these increases in price. We are saying, we want to be preventative rather than reactive. The kind of pet insurance
Nice.
and vet visits are pretty reactive. And unfortunately, if you're in that reactive state, your hands are tied. Everyone, the vast majority of dog owners, it's such an emotional kind of relationship that
Mhm.
money in within reason it's kind of the scale is unbalanced. There's so much emotion behind it that money really kind of does come second and the health comes first. And so we think that vets are ultimately taking this, understanding this, and realizing that they can charge a huge amount. So we are
Mhm.
saying we would advise the kind of preventative nature, which is like we humans do, a daily supplement to support your body, to support the dog's body in a routine, providing them with the active ingredients that really helps um, that really just really helps and supports the dog and their kind of actual nervous systems and kind of requirements and so on, rather than waiting,
Yeah.
unfortunately, until it's too late and it's become too big a problem and then it's ingrained in them, whether it be anxiety or if it's a physical thing with arthritis, um, where they kind of unfortunately struggle to move with ease, and a kind of bigger solution is required, which from a financial side costs a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. So with your products, will dogs see relief if they're taking, so if they're struggling with, say, arthritis, and then they start on your products, will that help with their symptoms still, or is it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yes, we've actually we've done an independent, again, one of the kind of big validation points for any product is kind of independent reviews and independent surveys
Mm.
and so on. And so this was an incredibly important thing for us. And although we believe some of the best science that money can offer behind the product, it's important to get it independently validated. And so we've
Mhm.
recently run a kind of month or so long trial with um, a kind of number of dog trainers, which is where the behaviorists and dog anxiety unfortunately comes into play. And
Sure.
we actually received some incredible results from that. So we've seen that 85% of the dog trainers saw great benefits with the kind of all their clients' dogs within the first month.
Wow.
And I think it was something like 91% of the dog trainers would also recommend it to their clients. And I think, it's not only do they, 85% proving that the product works, but 91% takes it that step further and means that, they like the product and they're willing to become and ultimately put their name to it to become an advocate for the product. And so I think that that's really important for us. It's that, people like the product, the dogs like the product, but the functional side of the product, the reason why the consumer is buying it really is the kind of leading light. And ultimately, it is making dogs less anxious. It is supporting dogs with their movement. It is, and so on and so on.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I loved what you were talking about there with the issues that we see within the health space for our dogs, particularly. That it is very similar to the way that the health system's set up for humans, where, often it's prescription, it's drug, it's treating symptoms rather than trying to prevent and cure. Um, yeah, so I got a really strong product for sure. And are you looking at developing other products for other more of a preventative measure?
Yeah, look, I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of ailments that dogs face. Whether
Mm.
like which is so sad. But if we can be,
Mm.
even a tiny part of the solution for many, that's got to be the kind of good light at the end of the tunnel. And from Archie and my side, we've always said we want to help dogs. We're both huge dog lovers. We are obsessed by dogs, and being able to help, man's best friend, women's best friend, whatever it may be, is really has to be that's what kind of gets us up in the morning, is being able to speak with our customers and say and hear the, oh, you've massively changed Barney's life, for example, but also it's also changed our life because we can now go out for walks with dogs. We can, you know, I can leave the house without feeling bad because Barney's not, scratching at the door or barking at the postman or whatever these kind of issues were. We've been in a position to be able to support and help the consumers, and not only does it increase the dog's kind of quality of life, but it also increases the ownership and the relationship that the owner shares with that dog. And for Archie and I, that's kind of the best and the most important thing for us.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And then I think it's such a powerful message that when you can say that it's helping to change the lives of the pet owners as well, because it is so incredibly stressful when you have a poorly dog or you have a dog that's reactive or anxious and you don't know how to support them. I mean, a lot of rescue dogs are
Mm.
in families now, and they often come with anxiety and fear. So to be able to provide them with a product that can help calm them. So in your anxiety product, what is in it that helps the dog
Yeah.
to remain, calmer, less anxious? So how's that
So
working?
our products, as I kind of touched upon, we really wanted a product that, really is health first, and the dog's health is the most important thing. So there were the reason why we've kind of created these products. Firstly, it's 100% natural ingredients. There are no
Yep.
preservatives and no acidifiers, and that comes with a lot of operational nightmares because you'll
Yeah.
see you'll see on the market that some products, are packed full of acidifiers. They're packed full of preservatives. And this is used to elongate the shelf life of the product, which ultimately means once it's produced, it will last longer on shelf, meaning less kind of operational logistics for the kind of company, which therefore means, it will last longer. But that is not, preservatives, acidifiers are not good for the dog. Having an
Mm.
acidic product is not good for the kind of dog's internal, the gut, and so on. And so our core focus was, okay, because we're focusing on dog's health first, let's make the healthy product and we can work out the operational side behind it. That we can, we will work that out. And so that was the most important thing. And so all our products are pH neutral. As I
Yep.
said, they are 100% natural ingredients. And the products, the ingredients are melissa and passion flower, and they are two
Nice.
ingredients that really help just slow down and stop the kind of chemical buildup of anxiety. And that for us and for the dog is the most important thing. And kind of going on to kind of talking about why we separate ourselves from the others, we think, which I'm sure you guys will understand in the broth world, is that higher absorption rate. Of pills,
Yes.
40% can be absorbed of the active ingredients,
Yes.
whereas in a liquid format, 98% of those active ingredients can be absorbed. And so,
Wow.
the
Nice.
consumer is paying for, ultimately the consumer is paying for the functionality. They're paying for the end result of a calmer dog. And if you can have 98%, which is over double of that of a pill or a chew or whatever it may be, that's the kind of that's what moves the goalpost. That's what really adds that functionality. And
Yep.
it's so incredibly important for consumers to understand that. And from our side, we really want to educate them. It's the active ingredients that really is making the dog calmer, making them more relaxed, and as I said, slowing or mitigating that buildup of the kind of chemical reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. That is awesome. And so, in terms of, so how did you tackle? So, what's the shelf life on your product?
Yeah,
Have to
so
be
the way in which we are very fortunate in the way in which our partners, our scientific partners, as I said, they are world leading scientists, and so it took a long time to work this out, and
I'm sure
pretty
it did.
it was pretty up and down. It was pretty much a roller coaster for Archie and I, emotional one as well, because one day we'd get these test results back, they would not be good. The next day we'd get a step closer, and so on and so on, and so using some kind of innovative, functioning methods from a production side of things, we've managed to secure a kind of 2-year shelf life on the product, whilst ensuring
Right.
there are no preservatives and no acidifiers still in the product, which for us is so important. But also it's important for the consumer, given that it is a daily supplement. We can't have it open and then spoil within 3 or 4 days. It's got to have that
Yeah.
longevity, because it is a kind of, unfortunately, anxiety, arthritis, all these kind of health issues, they are not a quick fix. They are a long-term support. And rather than being a kind of sedative pill or whatever it may be that you might get from the vet, that is the opposite of what we want to do. We want to support your dog's behavior rather than completely change it. And so that shelf life and that kind of longevity for us was a kind of a big hurdle for us, and one
Wow.
which we spent probably far too much time trying to work it out. But if we weren't able to do it, we probably wouldn't have a business today, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, congratulations on being able to achieve that because, obviously we've been in the food space for a while and we
Mm.
totally get, how difficult it is to produce 100% natural products and have a long shelf life. I mean, we go through a process with our broths now, which of dehydration, which just removes all the water. So it removes the perishable aspect of bone broth,
Yeah.
which has been revolutionary for the business as well. But yeah, I can appreciate how hard it is from a science perspective to get that nailed. And in terms of, so it can sit on the shelf. So it's something that's shelf stable.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
completely
awesome.
shelf stable.
Yeah, yeah. And how much of the drink would the dog have? So they're in little glass
So there,
bottles,
yes.
aren't they?
They're in little glass bottles, and because one of the questions we get asked with the bottles specifically is, how much, as you were going on to say, is how much does your dog drink, and does it depend on the size or the weight of the dog? And
Yes.
it's a kind of bell curve. For 95% of the range of weights of dogs, it's exactly the same, because as I kind of said, with the active ingredients, you can absorb 98% of it. That would be
Mm.
sufficient for whether it be a 5 kilogram dog or a 35 kilogram dog. So we
Yeah.
advise one bottle per day per dog.
Okay, nice. And can cats have it?
So the ingredients are 100% human grade. So
Yep.
ultimately, we
Nice.
could have it. We just
Nice.
don't. We just haven't had many cat customers, but we've had, that it's safe for them to drink. and so on.
Yep.
But yeah, it's primarily aimed at dogs for now, just because that's the way it is, kind of with the Scrumpy and so on. But yeah,
Yes.
it's safe for cats to drink, and quite a few of our customers have dogs and cats, and say that cats have been drinking it, and they do see the same effects. So that's positive.
Nice. What about you, Rory? Have you had some?
So yeah, so I
Oh, have
have
I
had
lost you?
some. I
That quick.
I
There you are.
have.
You're back.
You got me. You got me. I have had some. Yeah, I am
Good, good.
fortunate that um, with Archie, his expertise is in the operational side, and he very much kind of does the manufacturing side of the business, which means for every batch we do, he needs to taste it. It's the first test that we do before doing the kind of detailed scientific ones. It's the kind of first hurdle. So he's had quite a few of them.
I'm sure he has. I love that. I had to ask.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so what's next for you guys in terms of products? Are you going to be bringing out any new products in 2026? Have you got sort of any plans for Port at all?
Yeah, we do. We are in a position now where it's growing nicely. We are beginning to get that kind of consumer flywheel effect where people have been trying port, people have been seeing the benefits, and people are now recommending it, which is incredibly, heartwarming for us. And so for the next kind of 6 months, it's really kind of we want to continue to grow. We want to continue to help as many consumers as we can, and that really is kind
Nice.
of probably Archie and myself getting out to again as many events as we can, being there, talking about the product and showcasing the benefits firsthand. So that's kind of the next 6 months, and then in 6 months' time after that, we're in a position where there's quite a few different opportunities that we could look to go to, which is exciting. Yeah,
Perfect.
which is really exciting.
Yeah, amazing. I'll be watching in awe of how your business grows because I do think you have a really good product, and I think that your motive and your and your reason behind the business, your why, is really important because I totally agree that the issue of supplements and in a tablet form is a challenge for most owners and for dogs too. And
Yeah.
I've seen even funny videos where people disguise the capsules or something in the food and the dog will eat all of the food and just leave the tablets behind.
I don't know how the dogs can do it. They're so clever.
I don't
Um,
know.
I saw a video on TikTok the other day. It was pretty much challenging this, and it said, "Okay, we're gonna just do a pill. Didn't drink, didn't eat it. We're gonna put one pill round or one piece of ham around it. Didn't eat it." And it kind of got to the stage where the dog was having a full-on food, but still would find the pill and not eat it. It was remarkable. But it's just one of those relationships that will not get on is dogs and pills. They just don't like them.
Yeah, I wonder, they have a very good sense of smell, don't they, dogs? And I wonder if it's something that they can smell within the capsule, or maybe, as you were explaining earlier, these acidifiers and preservatives.
Yeah.
They may be able to smell them, and know that they're not good for them. We did recently did an interview with Helena at Poochie Park. She does zoo. Oh, she'll kill me for I can't even pronounce it, but it's zoo pharmacology. I think that's something what it is. But it's where basically the dog goes, they choose what they want rather than you giving it to them. So, for example, she had a dog that was quite poorly and all he would eat was eat dandelions.
Yeah.
And it's because there was something in the dandelion that the dog needed. So it's really interesting, if it could have the opposite effect, with
Yeah.
something like
No,
a
I
capsule where they know that that's not good for them. So they choose not to have that.
They choose not to have it,
But
and I think you're right. I think dogs are so incredibly clever that they do know what's good for them. They know what makes them feel good, and they tend to kind of lean towards that. I mean, you get some dogs, fortunate, well, which eat everything, but I think they
yeah.
realize what's good and what's not good, and I think you're right. I think for some reason they just don't like pills, which who knows.
So don't take
Exactly.
nowadays, aren't we?
If
So,
only dogs could talk and we could ask them.
yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Elon Musk will with a device that will be able to in the future.
I'm sure at some point there'll be something like that.
So, Rory, where about where people buy PAWD products? Are you listed? Are you website? Are they listed in pet shops around the UK?
Yeah, so we are, as we kind of touched upon, we are predominantly a subscription model, and the reason for that
Nice.
is purely because, as I touched upon, anxiety, arthritis, etc. It's not a quick fix. It is a longer term support, and having a subscription model of relatively heavy product really does make it easier for the consumer. It just turns up on their doorstep. They don't have to worry about going out and getting it, putting it into the car and carrying it and so on and so on. And so that's kind of the main priority for us. So that's all online, all on our own direct website. We then also have the Amazon channel where we, again are kind of selling through Amazon, but also we do have retail where we're stocked in nationwide for Pets Corner, kind of all 160
Ah,
stores there,
awesome. Yeah,
which is
nice.
which is great.
Excellent. Yeah, we're with you on that listing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Pets Corner are great for that. So that's really good. And you have social media, people, where are you, where can
Yeah,
people interact with
we
you on?
we are all across social media. So we're Instagram, we're TikTok, we're X, we're Facebook. We're across all of them. And as you say, we're a relatively small team. So it's people behind the social medias rather than
Yeah.
robots or anything like that. Which I think, Archie and I, which are going on those growth plans of actually attending the events, actually speaking to people, actually calling up our customers. That for us, that human relationship, I think, is so important. You know,
Mm,
people are trusting us to support the health of their animal. The least we can do is give them that respect to have a genuine conversation with them or be behind the social medias for them if and when they have any questions. So for us, that human
yeah.
interaction is so important. But yeah, the people can get in touch, social media. I think even
What's that?
phone
What's your
numbers.
handle?
We are
What's your handle?
poured drinks across the lot of them.
Okay, so just to spell that, that's PAWD and then drinks with so
Yeah,
two
so
D's.
double D. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, double D. Awesome. I think you're so right there, Rory, with what you were just saying with that human interaction and that engagement with customers. That's something that we've been very passionate about over the years. One thing that I've always really focused on is really excellent customer service, and mostly because a lot of companies do it really poorly.
Yeah.
So if you can do a really good job of customer service, then for sure you're going to be in a winning situation. And yeah, we're the same. We are real humans behind the emails, behind the social media, and I think it is such an important part of business nowadays.
I mean, I look at it, ultimately we're all consumers of products. And if I buy
Mm,
something online or on Amazon or whatever it may be, I
mm,
personally would like to be able to speak to people if I have any questions, speak to people who, whether or not you get, the top level or whoever it may be, but someone a part of that company that, knows the answers, knows the kind of details behind the product. I think if you're trusting someone to actually pay their own hard-earned money for a product of yours, you can speak to them.
yeah,
It's the kind of
yeah,
least you can do. And I think it's so important that, you know, if I think that I would like that, being able to reciprocate that to our customers, hopefully leaves them with a smile on their face with the kind of product that they're getting. It just gives them a good customer experience. And I think, in today's modern world, when everything is, or a lot of things are becoming automated and it's AI driven and so on,
mm,
I think it's a really nice thing. And if I'm purchasing from somewhere and I know it's a person behind it straight away, I think that's really
yes.
nice rather than having to wait half an hour on a phone call to then be put through to someone or whatever it may be.
Speak to a robot, incredibly
Exactly,
frustrating.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I've got one final and I'll let you go because I appreciate your very. So, yeah, my question to you is, where do you see the supplement industry moving. So obviously in quite a unique product, liquid based, fantastic. I think that's a real opportunity for your business. So, but where do you see the supplement industry moving as a whole?
Yeah, well, I think the way in which we can look at this from a I guess a data perspective is, the US market has exploded with supplements in the human world, which then the UK market follows 3-4 years behind. And in the dog world, it's slightly shorter. It's probably about 2.5 years. But it is exploding over in the US. It's the supplements, people are really understanding it. People are really, getting that idea of prevention rather than reactivity. And so I see the supplement space only going from strength to strength. And I think, that's supported by all these big brands, all the kind of large players who we aspire to be like, really kind of beginning to get into the space, beginning to kind of test the waters and so on. So I personally see it only going from strength to strength. And I think with increased involvement from the larger brands and so on, it probably does balance out the kind of power that the vets have. Because at the moment, as we kind of discussed at the beginning, they are in a powerful position because they're a voice of, they're a trusted voice in the kind of dog world. And they ultimately are giving kind of reactive products. But I think if the big players come in and the market becomes a little higher educated, shall we say, then I think it becomes a little bit more mainstream, which then really does drive forwards that prevention rather than reactivity, which I think can only be a good space for the market. I really do believe, and hopefully that really helps dogs for the larger part of their healthier life. Hopefully hopefully they are healthier, and hopefully they do have that higher quality of life rather than struggling with an issue, whether it be visible or not to the human, um, and then just seeking some sort of fix rather than doing a kind of supporting hand throughout. I think it's
Yeah,
only going to continue to grow and probably grow relatively
nice.
rapidly.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that 100%. I mean, we've seen such an increase in that space over the
Mm.
recent years. I mean, broth, it's borderline food, it's borderline supplementation. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the broth space has certainly been growing, particularly in the last 18 months. So it's exciting time for us businesses for sure.
It is. It's so exciting. But also, I think one of the nicest things, as I'm sure you'll know and agree, is, for the relatively smaller businesses, not the butternuts, the hills, the pedigree. I really do think it's a
Yeah.
very supportive nature in the dog industry, which
Mm,
is, I do think people do like to help each other out. I think they like to support, and, ultimately, we just want to make dogs healthier and give them a better quality of life. And I think we're all fighting that same. We're all pulling the same way, just in different kind of minor directions. But I think that's the kind of a really nice feeling about the industry.
yeah, I couldn't have said that better. It's a great community. And I think that's, where we're building our business is on community. And it sounds clearly like you are too. And I think
Yeah.
that's such a strong place for brands to build a community of people that love your products and yeah, are also open to sharing other product brands. And yeah, and also for independent brands, I think it is a strong time because people are slowly coming away from those mainstream top end brands because because of the processes that they produce food, because of the ingredients that they're going into the foods. People are becoming a bit more savvy, aren't they, in terms of what's good and what isn't good.
I think you're very right there, and these challenger brands, shall we say? I think it's a time and a place, and I think that time is the next 3, 4, 5 years. The kind of
Mm.
stalwarts of the industry, they are unfortunately stuck in their processes, and it's very tricky to change. However much money
Yeah,
they have, it's very tricky to change those processes and the kind of connotations with the brands and so on. And so I think there really is opportunities for these younger, more agile brands to kind of infiltrate the
nice.
market, penetrate the market, and you know, really hopefully be successful and provide very high quality ingredients, customer service, etc., and build a community around that.
Yeah, nice. That's great. Well, thank you, Rory, so much. It's been a pleasure to have you on taking the time to talk to me about more about your business, and obviously to let others know. And if anybody's interested in learning more about PAWD Drinks, you can go to their website, which is...
Yep, so we are www.pawddrinks.com. So hopefully relatively simple. And yeah, you'll be directed there. And if anyone needs any help or any questions, please feel free just to reach out. It will be either myself, Archie behind it, and we'd love to support you.
Amazing. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks ever so much again. You take care and good luck. And I'll certainly have you on again next year. Find out how you're getting on.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Rachel. Speak soon.
Okay, take care. Bye for now. Okay.